So for instance, if I say, you know, that when I walk into a new town, let's suppose I was visiting France, and I don't know French, but I know that when I first enter a new town, I have to tell somebody, hi, how are you? And then I have to tell them, my name is this, what's your name? You see that? And then I can ask them, you know, like if it's a cab driver, I'll have to tell him, can you take me to this hotel? Now that I know, okay, this is what I want to do, the only thing left for me is to literally memorize what each word. So how do I say, hi, how are you in French? How do I say, my name is Arif in French? How do I say, what is your name in French? How do I say, take me to the following destination in French? Or how much is it going to cost me? How much time is it going to... So once I know my steps, all I have to do is know what the language says. So that's the same thing with programming, that once you know your steps, then that's the same thing with your language. So the bottom line is, now let's go ahead and take a look at what are the steps that we are going to follow. Because we are going to read from XML and populate of the front, we need to create and first, the flow will be that we need to first create an XHTTP request, an XML HTTP request document. Then we have to, using that, the XML HTTP request document or the ActiveX object, we will have to then go in and ask it to use, it has a property we learned yesterday, which is called the response text, which reads from the XML document. So that's our first step done. Yes?
When we actually get a website started, through every time we have to use Ajax, we have to ask permission for that website to contain Ajax material. Is that what you're saying? In other words, we gotta...
Yeah, we'll have to create a new object. It's like creating a handle. Every time that you go through a database, you need to create a handle in order to you need to create a handle in order to take care of things in that aspect. So the thing is, here also with Ajax, you need to create a handle in order to make sure that your XML document is being read. Now, the other thing I want to tell you is when you're writing an application, break your steps down. So if you tell me, Arif, tell me the French for, okay, when I reach the hotel, what I have to say, and then when I'm going to eat dinner, what I have to say. No, modularize it. So right now, my first thing is, okay, my first task is to populate this with numbers. How do I do that? So if you say, well, how do I populate, and how do I change the form, and how do I do this, and how do I do that, then you will get confused, and the end result will be a mess, or I can't do it. But if I only think about, okay, in order for us to populate values from an XML document onto a web page, we need to create an XML HTTP request object, send, and then open a file using that object, send nothing to the database right now, that's why the send will be null, and then if it's completed, we need to use the response property to send that information to the web.
To test it.
So that's all we will start with. Okay? So now you've been recording.